This will be for the con assignment, solve for a side in right triangles. So what you want to do is look at the angle that is given. Okay, if you go across from that angle to the side, that's considered the opposite. If you go across from the right angle, that's considered the hypotenuse. And the remaining side is considered adjacent. So remember from last week, we did SOH CAH TOA. Okay. Now, as you can see, we do not have the opposite side. Okay, but we have adjacent and we have hypotenuse, or we want to find adjacent. We have hypotenuse. Okay. So which one uses adjacent and hypotenuse? Well, that's this one right here. We have adjacent and hypotenuse, so we're going to use cosine. Okay. So if you recall, the cosine of an angle equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so here the angle is 35. And that equals adjacent, which is question mark, over hypotenuse, which is 6. Okay, in order to solve for the question mark, we have to multiply both sides by 6. Okay, and on the right, the 6's cancel. And on the left, you do this on the calculator, 6 times cosine of 35 degrees. Okay, make sure it's set to degrees. All right, and I'll do this, let me see if I can do this on Khan's calculator. Okay, good, here we go. So on the Khan calculator, do it right here. On the Khan calculator, you just hit the button for the Khan calculator, okay? And I am going to do 6 times cosine of 35. You see DEG right here, that means it's in degrees, and I'm going to do 6 times cosine of 35, and then close the parentheses. Okay, so you see it right there. Hit the equal sign. Okay, and it says round your answer to the nearest hundredth. Okay, that's 2 decimals. So here's our answer, 4.914. Because the 4 is less than 5, then we round down. And our answer is just going to be 4.91, right in the box. All right. So this one here, look at the angle that is given. That's this angle right here. Okay, if you go across from the angle to the side, that one is your opposite. If you go across from the hypotenuse, the right angle, that's your hypotenuse. And the remaining side is adjacent. Okay, so remember, SOH CAH TOA. Okay, we don't have the side for adjacent, so I'll cross that out. We have the hypotenuse, and we want this side for opposite. So which one uses opposite and hypotenuse? Well, that's this one right here. See the O for opposite, the H for hypotenuse. So we're going to use sine. And the formula is the sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, remember theta is your angle. So we have 40 degrees. So we're going to write the sine of 40 degrees equals opposite, which is the question mark, divided by hypotenuse, which is 7. Okay, you multiply both sides by 7. All right, I put parentheses around the sine of 40 because that's all one number, and multiply that by 7. Okay, on the right-hand side, you have 7 over 7. That cancels. And on the calculator, you want to type 7 sine of 40, or 7 times sine of 40. So I'm going to go to the calculator, 7 times sine of 40 degrees, and then close the parentheses. See it right there, 7 sine of 40, hit equals. Okay, and remember you want to round to the nearest hundredth, that's 2 decimals. Okay, so because this number here is more than 5, you have to round up. So this 4.49, you round that up to 4.50. Okay, and that number goes in the box. Okay, so once again, it's the same thing every time. Look at which angle is given. All right, other than the 90-degree angle, look at which angle is given. Okay, you go across from that angle to the side. That is your opposite. You go across from the right angle. That is your hypotenuse. And the remaining side is adjacent. Okay, now remember to use SOHCAHTOA. All right, now adjacent side we do not have. I'm going to cross that out. And which one uses opposite and hypotenuse? Well, that's this one right here. Opposite and hypotenuse, that's sine. So write the formula. Sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, our angle theta is 25. That's degrees. And that equals opposite, which is 2, divided by hypotenuse, which is question mark. Okay. Now, in order to solve for question mark, you have to do 2 steps. Okay, because question mark is in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply both sides by the question mark. You can call it X if you want. All right. I'm going to multiply both sides by the question mark. And on the right-hand side, we have question mark divided by question mark. That cancels. Now, in order to solve for question mark here, I'll rewrite it so you can see it. We have question mark times the sine of 25 degrees equals 2. In order to solve for the question mark, you have to divide both sides by the sine of 25. Remember, I said this is all one number. Okay, so you're dividing by the sine of 25 degrees on both sides. On the left-hand side, sine of 25 over sine of 25 cancels, and we're putting this in the calculator. So we have 2 divided by sine of 25, 2 divided by sine of 25. close parentheses. Okay, the sine of 25 is all one number. You can put parentheses around it if you want, but you don't have to. And hit equals. All right, and of course it says round to the nearest hundredth. That's 2 decimals. Okay, so because this number here is less than 5, then we round it down. So the answer is just 4.73. That goes in the box. All right, one more. So look at what angle is given other than the right angle. Go across from that angle to the side. That's your opposite. Go across from the right angle. That's your hypotenuse. And the remaining side is adjacent. Okay? So we do not have opposite. Well, let me write SOHCAHTOA. Okay? We do not have the opposite side, so cross that out. We have hypotenuse and adjacent. So which one are we using? Here we have hypotenuse and adjacent, so we're using cosine. Write the formula. Cosine of theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay? So our angle theta is 50. Our adjacent side is 2. And the hypotenuse is question mark. Okay, so now that question mark is in the denominator, you need 2 steps. Multiply both sides by the question mark. And on the right-hand side, it cancels. And we have question mark times cosine of 50 equals 2. Okay, in order to solve for question mark, divide both sides by the cosine of 50. On the left-hand side, the cosine of 50 cancels, and you enter 2 divided by cosine of 50. 2 divided by cosine of 50. And just close the parentheses. Okay, cosine of 50 degrees, hit equals. And as always, we're rounding to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so you look at the third decimal place. If it's below 5, you round it down. So it's just going to be 3.11. And that goes in the box. Okay, so that's basically it. Just remember, like I said, to use the SOHCAHTOA, look for the angle that they give you, and just use the calculator on Khan Academy. If you click on Show Calculator, this will pop up, and you can do the same thing I did.